Hey guys, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another apartment renovation. Today I am renovating 910 Medina Studios, which is the apartment that Salim Benali normally lives in. And this is actually going to be an apartment for somebody who really likes bugs or insects, kind of collects them. I'm not sure if I'm going to call this bug or insect enthusiast, but that was the concept behind this build. It was actually a suggestion that somebody had left as a comment months ago, and I wrote it down, and for some reason it just sounded like a lot of fun recently. So I did start this over on stream a week or so ago and finished it recently, and so I'm excited to share with you what I came up with. So the floor plan is coming together here, but there is one thing that I'm going to change. You might have noticed that for some reason I put the bathroom in the corner with a window, and the bedroom space I made didn't have any windows. So I ended up swapping those two areas a little bit later on, and it worked out okay. I just didn't notice it until it was time to decorate the bedroom and the bathroom. But we're going to be having the kitchen space over here, and I'm using these countertops that are from the Country Kitchen Kit, and I paired them with the cabinets from Parenthood, which are pretty much the same color. And I thought it was a bit of fun to add this color in here. A lot of blue. I tend to add a lot of blue in my builds. But I incorporate a lot of color into this build, but it's all really muted tones. Think like laundry day colors. That's sort of what I was going for. And since I was thinking the sim really likes insects, is probably a frequent visitor to Granite Falls and collects all of the things there, maybe is into some of like the herbalism skills and all of that. I wanted to make that apparent through this entire apartment. So I'm grabbing tons of different insects. I also have that painting up in the kitchen that is from Realm of Magic, that has like butterflies and all sorts of stuff on it. I thought that that would be a perfect piece of artwork for this apartment. And then I'm getting some like honey nectar and a few other things like that to put in the kitchen, some of the things that you can create with the herbalism skill. And I think it came out really cute. Or it's not honey nectar, it's the fizzy juices. You can use honey to make the juices that came with Eagle Lifestyle. So I included some of those, and then I really wanted to have some shelves over in this space to have some of the insects on display. I imagine that this sim not only collects them, but really takes care of them and has a whole area of their apartment that is dedicated to their friends. So that is what I'm working on here. As you can see, it's mostly shelves, and currently it is also mostly the bugs that you can collect in Granite Falls, but I put a couple of these insect farms from Eagle Lifestyle as well. I thought about putting the bees, but I don't think I ended up putting those. I think I just put two of these insect farms, and they actually end up being up on a platform. I'm starting to work on that now. I also tried fencing it off a little bit with having some like windows and stuff covering it, trying to make it look like it was a door you could open. Maybe it was temperature controlled, and that might be more realistic for real life, but for the Sims, I thought it looked a little too cluttered that way because it's already sort of cluttered with the amount of little terrariums I have up here. So I ended up keeping it open in the end, and then I also really wanted to incorporate this bee window in here somewhere as a really cool decoration piece. And with that, I decided to put the table on the other side of the dividing wall, the half wall that I have separating the kitchen out from the rest of the living space. I do end up keeping that bee window, but I am going to move it a little bit later to closer to where the insects are right now. And it works so nicely where I end up putting it. I'm excited to show you that. I just think that's such a cute window, and I was happy to use it here. And then I'm trying to figure out what colors I want to use in this space, and I was very much inspired by how muted this rug from Laundry Day was. It matches so nicely with like the tones I already had going on in the kitchen and the different wood tones in the space, and I paired that with this sofa from the Industrial Loft kit. I think it worked out nicely. Another thing that I did in this apartment, which isn't something I often do, is on the top of this half wall, I ended up using the one that had the wood slats, which I don't know why. I always go for the tops that are just a simple flat half wall, but I thought it looked really nice here to have that additional separation. And then I'm moving the bee window over onto this half wall that is in front of the insect area. I just thought that was a cute detail and kind of signified what that space was for. I'm also playing around with the wallpapers, and I settled on this one. It is so ugly, but in a great way. It made me very happy, and it just matched so well with the counters I am using, with all of the colors in this space. So I was excited about this ugly wallpaper that I've only used a couple of times before, but I think it works so beautifully in this space. And then trying to clutter up the kitchen, but I will be coming back to it a little bit later on as well and adding additional clutter to the space because I didn't feel like it was cluttered enough. But I'm also adding more bugs over here And then we're back in the kitchen and getting another painting before working on the living room space. I decided to add a fireplace over here, and I also got some armchairs. I know I only placed down one right now, but there ends up being 2 of those. And then I put a little TV over to the next of the fireplace. Wow, English is very difficult for me today. I put it next to the fireplace, and we have a little plant on the top as well, and a coffee table. I put some more of those fizzy honey drinks over there, and then I thought this honeycomb shelf might be nice somewhere. So I just kind of chucked it over next to the kitchen and was like, I'll come back to that. We'll see if we use it. I did end up using it in the end, but I wasn't sure at this point if I was going to or not. And then just trying to figure out what else we could put in this space to decorate. So I put a plant over in the corner, and a little bit later on, I will be adding, I think, level 1 herbalism like skill book on the coffee table as well. But we're getting our washer and dryer over into this closet space. I kind of sectioned off where there were pipes in this apartment because this is a needs TLC apartment. And then I'm realizing that the bathroom and the bedroom were not in the correct spaces. So I am just moving that around now, and then we should be working on the bedroom first. It's pretty small, but I was only imagining one sim was living in this apartment, so it worked out okay in the end, and you could definitely fit 2 in here. I ended up pushing the bed up against the wall instead of having it centered like this. But Sims are able to scoot from one side to the other, or if you prefer they don't do that, you can just kind of move it to the middle of the room instead, and that should work nicely. But I did play around with colors in here, and it ends up being green, and I think it just is really cozy, and I don't know, I guess green and blue and all of the muted colors. I was kind of going for a nature vibe, which makes sense with the theme of this apartment being, insects, which is kind of an interesting theme. If you guys have any other ideas of builds you would like to see that have like different hobbies or interests or collections, do let me know. I have a lovely list of ideas that you guys give me, and I love decorating apartments in interesting themes, so keep them coming. I'm totally down to do some more apartments if you're interested in seeing them. But yeah, I got some paintings above the bed of just some flowers. We have another insect in this room, a beautiful mirror, and another plant. And then over here, I ended up putting a vanity as well. And I was thinking maybe they make their own cosmetics from like beeswax and all of that kind of stuff. I thought that could be kind of fun. And one thing that I would really like if The Sims did is if they updated the vanities so you could have a laptop on them or a computer of any sort. I know it's pretty common to use a desk and a vanity like as the same item in real life, so I think it would be really cool if you could do that in The Sims as well. But just getting some more of these little like ointments and stuff. I also have a deck of cards up here. I thought that would be kind of cute. I found it in Debug and I was like, yeah, we'll do that. And just some cuttings of plants as well. I just wanted to decorate the space and make it a little bit more personalized. I also ended up adding this shelf from Paranormal. I thought it looked so pretty and added a bunch of color to the space. I changed it to this pinkish color, but I still think it worked really nicely, even though nothing else in the room is that color. There are like similar tones throughout the entire space. I did think about using the shower curtain in the bathroom that had the flower on it because once again, it felt like it fit the theme. But I thought that this particular color matched the like tile I'm using in the bathroom and in the kitchen a little bit better. So that is what I ended up with, and we're using a base game sink that I think is a little bit on the uglier side, but it works really nicely for a apartment. And then we also have the tiny living toilet, which is the best one in my opinion, and a couple of paintings, and that should be it for the bathroom. And we're working on the entryway next, and in the entryway under the honeycomb shelving, this is going to be like a small dining space. I end up using this table from Tiny Living with a couple of bar stools from Dream Home Decorator. And I was like, oh, I don't have a spot for a laptop because I would have liked to put it on the vanity, but unfortunately they do not snap to vanities. They only snap to desks and tables and island counters. So I put it on that table instead. And so we have a side table when you first walk in and a place to hang up coats and stuff. So I just used one of these pieces from Dream Home Decorator, and we'll be getting a rug over there as well as our temperature controls and a fire alarm so you can make sure that this space is safe for your Sims, especially if they're not very good at cooking. I feel like my Sims are always catching fire to the stove, and I relate. I do not know how to cook. Anyway, I also thought it would be nice to have some paintings when you first walk in, so I ended up using these ones from the Paranormal Stuff pack and then paired some other paintings in here. I was being a bit indecisive on which ones I wanted to add, and at first you can see I have these sunflowers here, but I wasn't thinking that I had already added those in the kitchen, so I'll be swapping that out a little bit later for a different painting. And then I just end up having a plant on this side table, and I think one of these like locust looking statues from Jungle Adventure, some shoes by the door. I'm just trying to clutter everything up, and then we should be also filling up those honeycomb shelves as well. And I decided a terrarium in the kitchen looked a little bit better than that other plant that I grabbed. Plus, I think I already used that somewhere else. I kept using the same things more than once and then being like, I already used that. Let me change that. So, oopsies. But over here in these shelves, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to put. So I was just scrolling through all of the options and figuring it out as I went. So we end up having some vases, a candy jar, some teas, and some books. And I think that's pretty much it. We have the books on the top shelf, and then I put one of the like functional bookcase book things in the middle and had to raise the shelf to accommodate it. But I think it worked out nicely. It's nicely decorated, and it feels a little bit more full over there. And then I was like, you know what? This kitchen needs something. And what it needs is cutting boards. I had 2 cutting boards to like every kitchen, but I feel like they're just so empty and I need something else to put in the spaces. So I like how those fill out the space, so I'm going to keep using them. But that's pretty much it for this build. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. That really does help me out. You can also subscribe if you have not already and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the screenshots, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.